Welcome to the Loving Yourself podcast with emotional intelligence and self care life coach, Pastor Tammy Wilson. The goal of this podcast is to empower you to be the very best you that you can be. We will talk about self care, setting boundaries, emotional intelligence, and much, much more. Join us now for a broadcast already in progress.
Grace and peace, everyone. Hello. This is Pastor Tammy. Just wanted to come to you tonight just to talk to you just for a few moments. I will not be long, but I just want to talk to you for a few moments because it was laid on my heart. I was thinking about my son, Demetrius, and just to know that only 4 years ago, it seems like a long time, but then it seems like a short time. But only 4 years ago, I lost my son Demetrius to a tragic, he was a pedestrian in a very, very tragic accident. And most people ask me, they want to know how I got through it. I'm not all the way through it. I'm getting through it and processing it every single day. Every day I'm processing his death and his loss. But the main encouragement I want to give to someone that's going through grief, that's battling the loss of a loved one, especially a child, because, we always think that, well, I'm supposed to, my children are supposed to bury me. I'm not supposed to bury my child. But that's not always the case. And when that's not always the case, you have to know how to get through. It's not easy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's easy. I may make it look easy, but it's not easy. It's really not easy. And I think it's only because of the grace of God and God's strength. Because let me be honest, I wanted to go in the bed and stay in the bed and not go to work and not go anywhere, not do anything. That's just what I felt that I wanted to do. I felt that I wanted to just shut down and shut away from the world and everybody. But when you understand who you are and you have an assignment on your life, you have to learn how to cope. You have to learn how to deal. And for somebody that's been, self-medicating or trying to find other things other than God, I came to tell you that try God. Try Jesus. If you don't believe in Jesus, everybody has their own beliefs, but there is a higher power. Try that higher power and put your trust in the higher power instead of putting your trust. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Instead of putting your trust in things, because things will always fail you. Things will always let you down. And when you go to a place to where you're trying to numb the pain with different things. It doesn't have to be drugs or alcohol. It could be whatever the case may be. When you're trying to numb the pain after you're finished, the pain is still there. So you have to get to a place to where you can learn how to process the pain. And there are several stages of grief. And the first one would be the stage of shock. You really don't understand you're just devastated. The next stage would be denial. When you're in denial, it doesn't seem real. Those are all the things that you need to feel. You need to get in that moment and feel that. Don't just sweep it under the rug and act like it's okay when it's not. It's really not okay. The third thing is anger. There are things that we battle with. Hello, Lady Blue, God bless you. There are things, my son is on, Dominique, Pastor Dominique, thank you for joining. There are things that we deal with that will make us angry. We're angry because they're not here anymore. We're angry because there were so many things we had planned and so many things that we want to do. And sometimes we get mad at God because, God, you shouldn't have let that happen. But I realized that God only graced us the amount of time that he gave us. So it's up to us to enjoy our family members, enjoy our friends, enjoy our loved ones, enjoy everybody while you can. Don't hold grudges. Don't get an attitude and stay mad for months and months and years, because you just never know. But when you get to that place of anger, you have to learn how to reel that in, because the Bible says, be angry, but sin not. The problem is not in being angry. The problem is when you sin afterwards. You say things that you shouldn't say. You do things that you shouldn't do. You treat people certain ways. You get upset and you mean and hateful and evil to people. But you have to realize that's a phase that you have to get through. That's why it's stages, it's phases. Once you deal with the anger, hello, Pastor Pachette, God bless you, Apostle. Once you deal with the anger, Apostle Timothy, still blessing. Once you deal with the anger of losing a loved one, you have to deal with it. You have to face it head on. You have to have a talk with whoever you need to talk to. You have to be able to release it and get it out. Say what you need to say. Just remember, be angry and sin not. And I'm saying this because some people battle with grief for a long time. And no one can tell you how long to grieve. No one can tell you how you should grieve. But the thing is you're processing your way through it. You're processing your way through. You don't get stuck in any of these stages. You don't get stuck in shock. You don't get stuck in denial. You don't get stuck in anger. And one of the next one is bargaining. If I had have did this, then maybe they wouldn't have died. If I had have been here, or if I would have went home that night, or if I would have did this differently, then they would still be here with us. Well, you can say all of that, but God's timing is his timing. So I just want to tell somebody, stop beating yourself up. You could not control what God does. You cannot control what God does. Bless you, my sister Lisa. God bless you. Thank you for joining. You cannot control. So I want to help somebody tonight, to help you to get through, to process. The next thing is depression. We know what depression is. We know what it does. Depression takes us to a place to where we just don't want to move. We don't want to be around anybody. We're isolated. We're secluded. We just want to be by ourselves. We don't want to do anything fun. We don't want to go anywhere. That was me. I just wanted to go in the room and just sit. Go in the room and just stay. Nephew Terrence, God bless you. I wanted to go in the room and just sit and stay and not see anybody, not deal with anybody. But that's not the will of God. The Bible says you shall live and declare the works of the Lord. You have to declare his goodness. You have to do the work. There's a lot left that you have to do. So when you get to that place of depression, you can't think about depressing thoughts. If you think depressing thoughts, you will remain depressed. So you have to think of the good times, the happy times, the good memories, the times that you shared together, the times that you laughed together, the times that you were together, the time that God gave you to share with that person that you love so dearly that's no longer here. You have to hold on to the good memories, because if I put sad music on and I think about all the times when I wanted to do this and Demetrius wasn't there and wanted to do that, I will get stuck in depression. I will get stuck right there. You cannot afford to get stuck there. You have to pull yourself up and think of the good times. I was so lost when my son died. Nobody probably really even knew, because I was just going through the motions. I took 2 weeks off of work. I planned this funeral. I did all of this, and I just kept going. I was preaching, teaching, and then one day it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I did not want to move. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to preach. I didn't want to teach. I didn't want to do anything. But here it is. You have to know that when God has given you time with your loved ones, spend time with them. I can't stress that enough. You don't know when the last time is going to be. And if you feel like, oh, we'll get together tomorrow, we'll get together the next day, well, that time may not come. So while you have a chance, love on your friends, love on your family, appreciate those that have been there and by your side and with you. Give people their flowers while they're living. You may not like physical flowers, but there's something that you can do to show your appreciation and show your gratitude to people that you love. You have to process your way through it. You have to be able to pull yourself from that depressing place. And you may not be able to do it by yourself, but get to somebody. You need a therapist, a counselor, a coach. Get to somebody that you can talk to. My main thing was I didn't know how to handle grief to this magnitude. Now, yes, I lost my mother. I lost my father. I'd even lost my sister and my brother. Tragic. All these accidents and deaths and things that I had experienced. So, you know what? I thought I was okay, but I was not okay until my coach, Lady O, she came to me. She said, you have to let this go. I was dealing with I wasn't able to say goodbye. I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't get to see my son in the casket. I didn't get to pick out what I wanted him to wear nice. I didn't get to, make sure his hair was tight, because Demetrius, he was sharp. Everything he did, he was fresh. So I didn't get the opportunity to make sure that when we had his homegoing or his celebration, that he was straight. I didn't get to see his body. The last thing I know was when he left home that morning, I didn't get to see him anymore. But what I had to do was I had a big poster picture, because we didn't have the casket or anything. We just put pictures up. So I talked to the picture as if he was physically there. You have to do what you have to do. I said what I needed to say. If I needed to apologize for whatever happened in his childhood, or times I felt like I was there, I wasn't present, whatever it is, whatever that thing is that's grieving you, that you're battling with, you have to express that and get it out. You have to free yourself. You have to be able to let it go. Even, I don't know how you might need to do it. Write it down. Write them a letter. They're not going to physically get it, but you have to go through the motions of releasing. Go through the motions of releasing. Release it whatever way you need to release it. After you release that, are you going to feel better? Somewhat, but it's not going to go away. The situation and the grief is still there. But the last stage that you need to get to is the stage of acceptance. Acceptance. You're accepting the fact that it happened. You cannot change it. You accept it, and you try your best to move forward. You try your best to move on, because your loved one, they wouldn't want you being sad and depressed and not going anywhere and not enjoying your life. So you have to get to the place to where you can accept what happened. That's the final stage. Now, does it stop? No, but you can get through it. Once you accept it, stop blaming yourself. Stop, talking bad about or own the situation, but learn that God makes no mistakes. I know you don't want to hear it. I know you're tired of hearing it, but everything is in God's timing. He didn't promise us that we would be here 50, 60, 70, 80 years. We never know. That's why it's so important to live your life to the fullest. Love while you can. Do what you can do for others. Allow yourself to be that light that everybody else can see. So that when it's your time to go, that people will have something good to say about you. When it's your time to go, that people will realize who you really were, and not the mask and the person that you tried to be that you really weren't. I'm not gonna get started on that. I just came to focus on this, learning to deal with the grief. Hey, Ariel, blessings to you. Love you. We miss you guys so much. Congratulations on your new home. So listen, once you get to the place of acceptance and you realize that you can't change it, you cannot do anything about it, you have to continue to process and go through. Don't stop. Keep going through. Keep finding things to smile about. Keep finding things to laugh about. Hold on to the joyful things. Hey, my sister Regina, love you. Hold on to the things that's dearest to your heart. Those things that kept you going. There's some things that keep us going. Find out what that is. I said it before, the good memories, the good times. Go through these 7 stages of death in your own time, in your own way, seven stages of grief, in your own time and in your own way, and you will begin to laugh again. Your tears won't always remain tears of grief, but there'll be tears of joy. There'll be tears of the great time that you had and the times that you shared. I just want to try to help somebody to get to a better place. You don't have to remain stuck in grief. Listen, I know it hurts. I'm a witness. It hurts. It doesn't go away. It does get easier, but it's how you handle it. It's how you handle it. And my last point is the last stage was grief. I just went through 6 of them. But my last point is you have to live because there's other people that need you. Hey, Shaponica, love you, daughter. You have to live. Apostle Blue, God bless you. You have to live and be present. Listen, you hear me? You have to be present in the moment, in the now, because somebody else needs you. There's other children that you have that need you. There's godchildren that need you. There's your nieces and nephews that need you. There's your grandchildren that need you. Your husband or your wife, they need you present. They need you with them so you can continue to make memories. You can continue to embrace people that you love. You can continue to be there for other people. Now you may say, well, what about being there for me? Well, if you be there for somebody, somebody will be there for you, and vice versa. You can strengthen and encourage each other. But if you seclude yourself off, if you push yourself away in the back room and you don't want to come out, or when you come out, you're not there. That was me. I was out, but I was not there. My husband would say, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, how dare you ask me what's wrong with me? I wouldn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. How dare you? It's 6 months later. How dare you ask me what's wrong? Because the thing about grief is one moment you're fine and the next minute it just hits you, and then your everything just shifts. Your whole mindset, your demeanor, your gestures, your body language, everything just instantly shifts. You have to learn how to pull that back in. You can't stay in that particular shift. Embrace it and move away from it and come back. Return back to the rest of your family. Return back to the rest of the people that need you, because people need people. And believe it or not, you need someone. You need someone to talk to. You need someone to help you process it. Somebody that's been through it. I never knew that I was going to have to go through this. But now I'm healed enough, I'm whole enough that I can help you get through it. Prophetess Kiara, I love you, book. I'm healed and whole enough that I can help you get through this trying time that you're in. Am I already there? No, I have not arrived, but I promise you I'm not depressed anymore. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not in denial anymore. I'm not in shock anymore. I'm not there anymore, but I had to learn how to deal with me, embrace every emotion. I had to embrace every emotion. Sometimes I just screamed. Sometimes I just cried and cried and cried. Recently, I cried. Like one of those real big sobbing cries. When I did that, I felt better. But at the end of the day, I just want to tell you that you have to express it and let it out. Don't hold it in, because you will explode. One more example and I'm off of here. When my mother passed away, I was 30 years old. Devin was like 15, my oldest son, and the twins were 5 or 6. My mother was my crutch. She was there in every phase or aspect of my life. If I needed bills or help or whatever, when I was married, she helped us together. When I became single, she helped me by myself. Advice, like she always knew the wonderful, great things to say. She always knew how to give me the word and cut me, but still give me what I needed to grow. That was my mother. So she was always there for me. So when I lost my mother, my world, I thought that was the worst pain. Losing my son was something totally different. But it was like, I felt like the chair had been pulled off from under me and I just fell to the floor. When my mother left, I was planning funeral. I was being super super little big sister. You know, I was getting everything together. I was the one that pulled it together. Everybody helped, but I kind of headed everything up. And guess what? A week later, I got in my mind, I'm driving my kids, Devin and my twins. I'm on 77. My mother lived in Charlotte. My mother lived in the States, where I lived in Charlotte. I promise you, I was probably doing 120 on 77, just zoned out. And Devin kept saying, Mama, you're going to kill us. Mama, slow down, you're going to kill us. But guess what? I lost it. In that moment, it didn't matter about my children. Can I be real with you? It didn't matter about anything. The only thing I knew was my mother is gone. What am I going to do? But guess what? My children needed me. My boys needed me. My god babies, they needed me. But if Devin hadn't have pulled me out of that moment, we may not even be here today. Me or my children may not have been here today because I didn't know how to handle grief and loss. This is why I'm trying to help someone. Because the first time around, I didn't know. I didn't know how to handle it. I suppressed everything, and I just went in a shell, and I act like I was okay at first. And then when it hit me, I just went inside and I went inward, but I still didn't know how to process it. So a week or maybe 2 weeks later, it hit me. And I almost killed all of us. I could have killed somebody else because I didn't know how to process the moment. So I want to say, those of you that are experiencing grief loss, it doesn't matter how many years it's been. For me, it's been 4, and I'm still processing, getting through it. It may be fresh for you. It may be 10 years and you're still stuck in one of these phases. I'm going to go over them again. There's shock, there's denial, there's anger, there's bargaining. If I would have been there, it wouldn't have happened. If I would have did something different. There's depression, but then there's acceptance. Acceptance brings hope. Because you still have a future. You still have a life to live. Live your life. Do whatever you need to do to carry on in a way that they would be pleased. They wouldn't want you staying stuck in depression or anger, or they wouldn't want that for you. And you should not want that for yourself. So eventually, learn to let go and move on. It sounds mean, but you got to do it. Because if you don't do it, then you'll remain stuck and you won't be able to live your life to your full potential because you'll be stuck. You can no longer stay stuck. Hold on to the good memories and move forward. God has so much more in store for you. He left you here for a reason. So complete your assignment. Love while you can and remain in the now. Be present. Be present with your friends and family. Be present with those that are depending on you. Be present with those that you need. Be present. Just be present. My husband gets on me all the time about being on my cell phone. And I know I'm not the only one. Because I'm not present sometimes. I'm here with him, but I'm not present. And that's what I had to realize. I couldn't get stuck in that moment because I have a ministry. I have a whole church family that's depending on me. Yes, they gave me time. They gave me space. They prayed for me. They covered me. They were here for me. But I couldn't drop them. You can't drop the ball because I think I said it before. God has not changed his mind about you. He hasn't changed his mind about what he has instructed you to do. The gift and call and the anointing that's on your life, you're still gifted, you're still called, and you're still anointed. So get up. Get out of the rut. Dust yourself off and try again. I love you. I'm not going to be on here long. I was on here too long the other night. So I love you all. Go in peace. Blessings to you. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Prophetess Kiera. When God put something in my spirit, I just want to be obedient from here on out and just drop a few nuggets, whatever I can do, because I'm a witness and I'm an example that you can get through the stages of grief, and you can be whole, and you can be happy, and you can have the joy of the Lord, because the joy of the Lord is your strength. All right, I love you much. God bless you.